ora, ko Stephanie tuku ingoa haere mai. Welcome to Adaptive Go. My name is Stephanie. Today I'm going to talk to you about sit ski gear and what works best for me. When it's a warm day, I wear a Mons Royale t-shirt with vents on the back and Icebreaker undies. But on cooler days, you really need to layer up. You can be, you don't I don't think you're quite as active as you are when you're skiing and snowboarding, so you often need to be a lot warmer. You spend more time in the snow, so you get wetter. So for all those reasons, I have done quite a lot of work on base layers. And the base layers that I prefer are merino, but the best merino that I've found is actually Opus Fresh from, you can find them on the Craft House website, and I've put links below. But what I really like is they are the only range that are doing this tail. So I'll put it on, but the tail, it comes all the way down. Is so handy for when you're riding in the snow and leaning forwards, whether you're wearing pants or bibs. It really sort of helps stop that breakage between your top and your bottom, and just helps keep your kidneys warm. This Icebreaker merino top. This is a jacket. It's super roomy, lightweight, got woolen merino on the inside, and I use this as a base layer on super cold days. Just acts as a layer of insulation, and it's fantastic. It's nice and light, and it scrunches up if you need to take it off. This next section is the stuff that I wear as base layers, as a must-have. Doesn't matter whether it's hot or whether it's cold. I really like the Oyuki Magnaclavas. I've got links to it below. I don't have it here to show you, but it just comes down, pulls off. You can talk to people really easily, and then just flick it and all the magnets flick into place. It's great. The only downer about the face mask is that when you pull it down, it looks a little bit like you're wearing a kid's bib. But I've learned just to kind of sort of tuck it in to things, and then, you know, nobody knows. My other must-have that I always wear, regardless of whether it's warm or cold, as a base layer up the mountain, is my Demon shoulder armour. I've had to cut into this quite a lot. I think Demon have done what a lot of apparel manufacturers do, which is just adapt their boys wear or men's wear for women, rather than actually building in a woman's shape. So the sleeves were really tight, and I just had to chop them off. The elbow pads were in the wrong place, the wrist guards were in the wrong place, so I just got rid of them. I couldn't make them work. What I really like about this is you've got the really hard armour for your shoulders. When you fall, you tuck in and you fall on your shoulders, and this shoulder armour really takes the brunt of all the falls, especially when I've fallen off chairlifts onto the icy sort of conditions. This has been fantastic. I highly recommend it, especially if you're a wheelie. It's probably super important that you're really protecting your shoulders and elbows. So yeah, look at some shoulder armour. I find that this sort of jacket approach really holds the armour in the right place, but I have had to sew the pads into the pocket because the pocket is too roomy. We've sort of had to modify and adapt this gear quite a lot, so Demon, if you're listening, you know, you could do with some work here getting it right for women's fit, but also thinking a little bit more about the size of the pockets and maybe multiple uses, like getting the elbows in the right place for things like sit ski. The other item that I wear a lot on my sit ski, which I would probably be in the minority, is I wear wrist guards, because the disease affects my wrists and my thumbs quite a lot, so these just give me extra support when I'm sit skiing. Undergloves, I think, are really worth it, because when it is cold and you have your hands out and you're working buckles on the sit ski, they really help to keep your hands warm. I also have, as part of my health condition, I'm sort of supposed to keep my hands super toasty warm, as well as my feet, so these are really good. I'm using the Oyuki undergloves. They're great, durable and long lasting, although they did get a little tear in the side, and I think either it came not stitched properly, or I just happened to catch the stitching on one of my buckles, which is probably more likely. So yeah, the Oyuki undergloves, I rate them. On a sit ski, if you fall as much as what I do, your gloves are, you know, sort of nearly constantly wet, pushing yourself up from the snow. Your gloves also get wet from having your hands out doing your buckles and things up, and then popping them into the inside of your gloves, especially if you ski Mount Ruapehu where it's a little on the wet side. The best glove that I found for skiing wet was the Swany's, but when I needed to move into splints, I couldn't wear my Swany's anymore. So glove manufacturers, you really should be thinking about accessibility and design, and protective elements like snowboarders wearing wrist guards and things, and just widening the neck of your gloves a little bit more so that people can have wider choices around things like using splints and wrist guards. These Oyuki were the next best thing, and they've been fantastic, and I've loved them. They're not quite as warm, but with glove liners on, especially the thicker glove liners, they've been brilliant. Unfortunately, they've started pulling out. They're not stitched. The Swany is a much better quality product where the liner is stitched all the way in, so this doesn't happen. So it's a big investment, a pair of gloves, and I was pretty disappointed that this happened with my Oyukis. I use the Smith helmet with Mitt side impact. Side impact is so important on a sit ski because you often fall and smash your head on the ground. Never ski without a helmet when you're sit skiing, and yeah, I can really vouch for the side impact. I use the Oakley goggles, which I'll put on. The goggles, the best thing for goggles is to have a really wide frame when you're skiing in a sit ski. The reason for the wide frame is you're sitting lower, so it's harder to see, and especially sideways as well, you just sort of really notice that loss in vision. So the best thing you can do is wear a goggle with as wide a frame as you can. Okay, so on to bib pants. I wear bib pants to keep me dry. I find when I'm sitting, my jacket's ride and my pants were dripping, leaving the big back exposed, and I also found snow was getting down into my pant line, especially when I fell. You need a tough Gore-Tex shell. The shell enables you to layer the toughness because you're often falling and sliding on rocks and ice, and the Gore-Tex because when you're sitting and you get snow into your sit ski, you just end up sitting on water, and eventually the water will come through even with Gore-Tex. The thing with bib pants to watch for is that there's not too many buckles or doing up things, because they can push against you in the sit ski and cause bruising on your thighs. Also watching for the buckles or domes in whether you're wearing pants or bibs in the front of your pants, because again you don't want bruising over your tummy when you're leaning forward into movements. So the Black Diamond bib pants have been fantastic. I've got full length zips all the way down, and you can enter the zip at the bottom. They've got zips that you can put wherever's comfortable, so you can get them right out of the way when you're of your seat when you're sit skiing, and you can just zip all the way around. So other bib pants that I use are the Marmots. They sit not quite as high up the chest, and they don't have a lot of buckles, so it's quite good. But the zip at the back, like, they've got these funny dome things that are really hard. They come undone and they're hard to zip up. and it's actually quite hard to reach around and unzip this, but once you do, it's just a straight zip down the side, so it works okay. But that said, the fit is better, the comfort, so the comfort when you're actually sit skiing is better. So in general, I tend to pull these Marmots out rather than the black diamonds. So the Patagonia has everything you need, really good vents and waterproof zip, and it's super durable, but this colour gets a little grubby, which I found a little hard on the sit ski. And I got a rip in it from someone's board or ski cutting my jacket when they went to come and help me. So again, I highly recommend going for that more durable fabric. What I bought this though, the Patagonia, is very expensive. So what I did buy this year, which was much cheaper, was this Marmot jacket. It's been great, it fits really well. But the vents, they're just not quite as big and as roomy, they're harder to zip, and it has Velcro on it, which is such a pain because the Velcro just attaches itself to your strap. But that's sort of something to watch for in any jacket that you're looking to buy. So yeah, those are the two, my two faves. I did try this gorgeous Oakley jacket. I really loved it on the sit ski because it had no zip down the front, and you just put it on over your top. But it had a recon sewn inside, and I had to cut it out because it gave me a bruise on my tummy. So that's sort of something again to watch for when you're looking at jacket purchasing. Right at the end of the season last year in the sales, I bought this jacket. I haven't worn it on the sit skis, so I can't tell you, but I bought it because it's stretch fabric. I have seen when I was doing research for this that both Patagonia and Marmot are now putting stretch fabrics into their touring backcountry gear. I can't wait for that. When you're in the sit ski, you really need your arms to have quite good movement, so I've found I've had to go up a jacket size to be able to do that. But this sort of softer, stretchier fabric I'm really looking forward to trying. So the last thing I wanted to talk to you about was boots, and I use these boots from XTM. I guess you could buy better ones, but I was really impressed with these when I put them on in the shop. They were nice and toasty warm, and they are very waterproof, which I also like because I end up with my footwell just completely covered in snow. And sometimes the snow moves around and I get these really cool little snowballs, but anyway, which my kids then like to pick out and throw. But anyway, so what I do is I bought some foot warmers. So you take the sole of your boot out and then you pop that into your boot. So I've got one here that I can show you. You attach a battery, and then the battery I just put in the outside, so make sure it's always on the outside of my foot so it's easier to reach, but also so that my feet don't rub up against each other and bruise the other foot. To show you, you do end up with this big loop of plastic just tucks under your ski pants and nobody can see it. So nobody's ever really noticed, and I don't care because my feet are just so toasty warm all the time. I highly recommend trying some boot warmers. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this vid. Think about subscribing to catch any more new tips and tricks. So yeah, I'll see you next time.